Hey everyone, it's Friday afternoon, and no, your computer is not malfunctioning. Nick is not with us tonight. I'm Michael Lovitz, fellow collector and a person who has started to diversify his collection by selling off some of it. So tonight, I'm going to take that opportunity to do that here with you, have some fun. I know Nick has had guest hosts in the past. Everyone does their own way of things. We've got Spencer and how he loves to have his little rapid fire. Here's these each of these pieces. Um, but I've been watching Nick for many months. Is it years now that he's been doing this? And so I thought, well, let's do sort of a little hybrid, and we'll take care of uh, some of Nick's fun parts to the show, and then you know some of my own fun parts, hopefully. So one of the things that Nick does that I always love is he gets to show off recent acquisitions at the start of the show, which I think is lots of fun. And so I'm going to do the same thing. For those of you who haven't already seen it, all of the pieces that are being offered tonight are on my calf in a gallery marked with at the top. So it's art for sale, the experience. So you can see all of the pieces that will be up and available tonight. So if you haven't already taken a look and want to take a gander, feel free to zip on over there open up a new window and pull that out at the same time. Otherwise, we'll just go through them piece by piece once we get there. There might be an auction tonight. Number one Marvel fan. I have something in mind, but let's see how things go. Also, I've got all of my art portfolios with my sale items here. So if there was something that any of you had seen previously as being listed for sale from me, and it's not here, but you're interested in getting a closer look, maybe making me an offer, let me know in the chat, and I'll be happy to pull it out. Happy to do show and tell if people want show and tell. But let's get this thing started because, like all of you, there's other things going on. Marcus, there will be Perez. Yes, there are a couple of Perez pieces. I didn't want to overwhelm the Perez, so just a couple. And again, if there's something that was in my sale galleries, any of my sale galleries that isn't on the list for tonight, and you want me to pull it out, you want to try to wheel and deal, pull an Anthony, I'd be more than happy to do that as the show goes on. But in the meantime, so let's do a little show and tell. And so I recently picked up from the esteemed Tom McDonald some very cool pieces that he picked up recently. That is there's a Brave and the Bold page from issue. See, this is my first time with the camera facing this direction. So let's see. There we go. All right. So issue 178, page 2. I recently picked up the splash page from Robert Binkley, and so it was kind of fun to add the page 2 to go along with the splash. Very neat bit of detective work by Batman. So, he is the Dark Detective. So it's kind of fun to have a nice detective page to go with that. In addition, and this was the thing that I had seen initially and really wanted to pick up, this amazing double page spread from the Jeff Johns, Gary Frank era of the Avengers. This is introducing the new team. You've got all the new team members present and accounted for, and I just thought that was really cool. You don't have a ton of Gary Frank Marvel art, certainly not a ton of Gary Frank Avengers art, but that was a fun era when he was dealing with Jack of Hearts and Ant-Man, the storylines. Really interesting stuff, but lots of fun for those of us who remember that era of the Avengers. I also recently did a trade with Anthony, and I was able to pick up a couple of really cool pages. This page from Thor 239, Again, from this issue, I have pages 1 through 3 and another page from later in the issue, page 27. So it's always cool to add a page to that. I also picked up this really neat final page from Defenders. And I don't know if people remember this storyline. Started in Defender 62 with the Defenders for a Day storyline where Dollar Bill goes on and releases a video basically saying anyone can be a defender. So come out to this estate in New York and you too can become a defender, and all hell breaks loose. Very cool. This page in particular is kind of fun because I used to own it at one time, so it's always nice to get back a piece that I had let go in the past. The last thing I want to show off, just very interesting for me. I know trading card art is a big thing, and I'm not really a big trading card art guy, but these paintings by Fred Ian for the Marvel Unbounded line of cards from Upper Deck. So I was able to pick up Wiccan, which is cool. A really amazing Odin. I just love that. I just think he's so regal and majestic and just so wonderful. But my favorite of this grouping, Machine Man, but not just any Machine Man. This is the Machine Man version from Next Wave. I just love this Aaron Stack storyline that Ornells did with Next Wave. That was just such a fun book. And so it was really cool to be able to pick up that piece. I just love the whole chainsaw for a hand stuff that he was just so out there. Too much fun. Anyway, that's some of my recent pickups. For those who have, because some people have asked, well, if you're selling things off, does that mean you're not collecting anymore? Absolutely not true. I am still collecting. I'm just constantly massaging the look of the collection, and as everyone I'm sure understands, artwork is not cheap. And so you got to pay for it somehow. And this is one way of paying for some of these nicer pieces. So anyway, that's my art recap. But, we're here to take a look at art that's being made available for sale. So
real quick, Mike, before we jump into that, we've got a bunch of people here, like 40 people already in chat. A whole bunch of people. So I decided because Nick isn't here, we don't have any CCAs, that I would give something away that is sort of CCA related.
Sounds
so good. I got this Aliens Vampirella blank. This is a ridiculously low print run. In fact, if you go look this up on the Electronic Bay, they sell for between $100 and $120 for the blank with no art. No art.
Crazy.
Right. And I'll be honest, there's not a lot of tooth on this paper, so the artist you find to do it is a wizard. So if everybody puts hashtag Nick Who in the chat, hashtag Nick Who, we will give this away at the end of the show. Aliens Vampirella #1 blank variant.
Very neat. And I put myself in because I'm not an employee of or any of that kind of stuff. So who knows?
Hey, put it in.
Yeah, why not? It could be fun. Anyway, thanks. That's so cool. It's always nice. It was one of the best things about this show. There's so much fun. There's so much free stuff, and so much really cool art to take a look at. So, well, let's get started. And listen. Like I said before, if there's stuff that that I've had available for sale that's not here, and you want me to pull it out and you want to try to wheel and deal on it, I'm more than happy to. The reality is, I've pulled hundreds of pieces to be sold, and we don't have time to go through that many. So I had to narrow the list down. I've got, I think, 22 pieces here tonight. Does that sound right, Kyle? And, there's a few hundred more still available. I've got 6 books sitting over to the side, filled with things that are available for sale. But just didn't make the cut for tonight, just because I really wanted to have some nice variety. I wanted to have different things, different artists, different price points, different eras, all of those things. So hopefully people will like what I brought. But again, if there was something special you wanted to see, great. Also, for those, just so you're aware, for those who are in the greater Los Angeles, Southern California area, there is going to be a show the weekend of what is normally Torpedo Con. There is a replacement show, so keep your eye out for that. It's going to be in Torrance, I believe, and should be a really fun show. It was started up by Harley Yee, gathering together pretty much all of the same dealers that you're used to seeing at the Torpedo Con, which is the weekend before San Diego starts. So there will be another show taking its place. I believe it's only for Sunday, so it's one day show. I will be setting up there as well with the full display. So that should be fun. Hopefully you guys who are in the area can come out and enjoy, get kind of a pre-San Diego look at what the dealers are going to be having, and kind of get a jump on the San Diego sales before the rest of the purchasing public will be able to see stuff just later in that same week. So keep an eye out for that. Keep that in mind. And with that all said, let's get to start selling some artwork. All right. So I'm going to move over to this stool because this is better positioned in front of the art, and I can take some stuff down. So the first two pieces I brought are pages from Amazing Spider-Man issue number 695. Giuseppe Camicoli and Dan Green inks. Two, interesting pages. The first one, which is on screen. Thank you, Kyle. Really great shot of Kingpin manhandling one of these minions that he's hoping to be able to get to carry out his scheme, which is to disrupt Spider-Man. Surprise, surprise. In the bottom, we have Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter. And I'm a big fan of interior pages, and particularly sequential pages. That's what we have here. So the next page, page 11, is sequential right afterwards. Still Kingpin, still Julia Carpenter, and you see his minion about to push the button to set out a disruption that sets off Peter's spider sense into overdrive. These are really inexpensive pieces for tonight. And the really cool thing about this, Camo doesn't normally sell his artwork. These are only available because I was able to get them through the inker. And that's the only way to get his stuff. He did such a great run with Dan Slott on Spider-Man. This was just a really cool issue that led us into the entire Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man and gets us the Superior Spider-Man storyline, which started in 698. So this is 695. Again, really nice opportunity to be able to pick up pages from Camo's run, which normally aren't available to purchase. So that's where we're starting tonight. All right. No excitement in the chat, but that's okay. That's okay. But I want to show them an equal opportunity collector. That was your Marvel start. Now we get to our DC. And this really neat, mostly splash page. I know technically it's not a splash page because it has a couple panels, but really nice Joe Bennett from his run on Robin. And, this is the Tim Drake Robin series. It was an anniversary issue 175. There's a lot going on with respect to Batman going on some weird soul search. So he's removed himself from society. And so you've got Nightwing and Robin and Spoiler all trying to figure out how to keep things running, what's going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. Nice page, again, kind of value priced. I'm always open to payment plans, Artie, not a problem at all. Yes, I guess that is an interesting thigh gap. So no doubt that would be fun for those collectors of thigh gaps. Boy, this chat really is a lot of fun. I keep forgetting how difficult it must be for Nick to keep a straight face throughout a lot of this. Anyway, again, value priced. To be perfectly honest, I paid $200 for this piece, so it really doesn't have much of a markup at all. I just wanted to put it out there as something that collectors would be interested in. It's not my only Robin piece of the night. I do have some more classic version of the Dick Grayson Robin, but that's coming along later on in this session. So, all right. Speaking of Superior Spider-Man, which I just mentioned a moment ago, here's a page from the follow-up. Oh, we're not ready for the Robin yet, are we? Yes, thank you. Superior Spider-Man, this was the follow-up storyline that Dan Slott did after introducing Spider-Boy. They had the Spider-Man title, which got canceled after, well, not canceled, but retired. That led straight into the Superior Spider-Man, and then led out with a brand new Spider-Man title thereafter. So really cool piece with Peter dressed in his version of Doc Ock's Superior Spider-Man costume. He's working with Anna Marie, trying to disable. Geez, I forget what. Oh yes, they're working on a way of capturing the villain of the story. And Peter using his spider sense, knowing when something bad is going to happen. So as they're working on the electronics, he's able to tell her, no, don't cut that wire. Don't cut that wire. So very nice Bagley piece. Again, value priced, not much higher than what I paid for the page. And just looking for variety. Oh, so one of the things that Nick does, I love, some of Nick's stuff is very fun. So Nick does undramatic readings. So I have an undramatic reading for you. Ready? That's it. There's no word balloon, so all you get is drugs. That is my undramatic reading for this page. These are not the suggested retail prices. These are actually the discounted prices. The suggested retail on this page, for example, had been $450. But for tonight, the reduced discounted price, $295. So happy to bring some bargains, to this audience, because that's what you're used to. Nick always comes out with these really cool pieces that are expensive, and he's able to bring the prices down.
So
I wanted to do
speaking of bringing the prices down, we have a question. Artie would like to know, would you consider $150 each on the ASMs and a bit of time to pay them off?
To break the ice, the answer is yes. I would do that for you, Artie. Good question, good ask, and that works for me.
All right, Artie, if you're going to snag them, just put claim ASMs in the chat so we have a record of the actual claim, and we will be good to go.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Artie. That's very cool. It's nice to get things started. Unfortunately, those are the pieces that I was going to do the auction on, but I'll find another piece to do an auction on. I thought it would be kind of fun to do those, starting not at 11 cents, though. I was never going to start at 11 cents. But much, much happier to have them go to a collector. So, and he raises the question, Kyle, in terms of how to message about purchasing them.
If you make a claim tonight, you'll be able to fill out the same form you always fill out for Nick's show, and we will forward Mike your forms. Also, we will give Mike's email out at the end of the show so you can contact him directly if you'd prefer.
Perfect. Well, thank you, sir. So these are sold. Yay! So I'm actually going to put the sold ones on the chair, and I'll put these back in. As we move along. All right. I'm here to wheel. I'm here to deal. I'm here to make people happy. So, as I was saying, equal opportunity. We go from Marvel to DC to Marvel, back to DC again. So here we go. One of my favorite artists. You don't see enough of his work anymore because it's just so wonderful. Everyone knows I'm a big Perez fan. And this is Phil Gimenez is, considered to be George's son, unofficial. His son by another mother. I'm not sure how that would work. But anyway, so this page is from Phil's Tempest miniseries. He did a 4-issue miniseries with the character where he both wrote and illustrated, working with inker John Stokes. So I have a complete issue 2, and I've had other pages from other issues. This is the last page I have left that's not from issue 2 because I like to keep that issue complete. So here we have from issue 3, really nice page as Garth is awakened by the resistance movement that he's here there now to be able to help out, try to regain control of Atlantis. So this originally priced at $450 for tonight has been dropped down to $295. Again, beautiful, beautiful page, just great detail that Phil brings to his art the same way that George always did as well, and just a lot of fun for anyone who's a Titans fan, anyone who's an Aquaman fan, and anyone who's just a fan of Phil's work. Just a really nice page, clean lines, great character shot. So real fun. So please keep it in mind if it's something you're interested in. And, as we've shown already, always happy to consider offers. Anyway, sticking with DC. How's this for a blast from the past? Yes. There we go. Am I not doing them in order, Kyle? Did I mess up?
You jumped around a little bit, but I clicked the wrong button that time. That was on me.
Oh, okay. No worries. So this was from a one-shot called Superboy Plus. DC did a few one-shots one year where they teamed up on likely characters, and this was a teaming between Superboy and Captain Marvel Jr. So we have a really nice setup shot here with Superboy putting on his iconic leather jacket and getting ready to go out in action with Captain Marvel Jr. As they go forth. Part of the Mannix Mania. I am not part of the Mannix Mania, but thank you. Sorry, there is no Mannix tonight from me. I might be manic, but there's no Mannix. Anyway, really nice Superboy page. Nice, clean. Andy Smith did a great job with this series. He was both the penciler and inker, and just lots of fun. If you read the story, if you read the issue, you know what I mean. It was a really fun storyline. At one point, they encounter their adult supervisors. So they come across Superman and the Big Red Cheese Captain Marvel, and have to fight against their mentors. And anyway, fun, neat story, beautiful page, almost a half splash Superboy. So just should be a neat piece for anyone's collection, I believe. So what do I have next, Kyle? Is it the detective or the Aquaman?
Detective.
Detective it is. Here we go. I promised you another Robin page, and we've got another Robin page. But this is Dick Grayson Robin. So classic Robin. Really nice action page drawn by Alex Saviuk from Detective 491, and with beautiful inks by Vince Colletta. We also get a nice costume change in the last couple panels as Robin rejoins his friends as Dick Grayson, and but yeah, just kind of a neat, fun piece. Again, this is one that I wanted to bring at a bit of a discount. I had it marked at $4.95, but decided for tonight to bring it down to $2.95. Give you guys a nice bargain if anyone is interested. I know that I'm not a big fan of Coletta's inks either, TJ James. I will admit, but in this instance, I didn't have any issues with it. I thought he did a perfectly reasonable job on Alex Saviuk's work, and Alex really got the action going, and I found Vince's inks to be perfectly reasonable here. Are they Terry Austin level? No, they're not. But still, nice art all around, clean, fun, good action, and haunches, right? Haunches. Anyway, yes, Marcus. Those I agree. This was the version of Robin's costume that certainly got a lot of leg shots out of it, and Alex did a nice job with that. So
we had a discussion on a show earlier today about the best gams in comics, and we didn't include Robin in the discussion, but we probably should have.
Yeah, probably, especially that old what was that little Speedo made of that had scales on it? I never figured out what that was supposed to be in terms of material, but it wasn't.
I just know I couldn't pull it off.
If it was chainmail, that had a chafe. Anyway, I don't think very many could have pulled it off. Luckily, Dick Grayson was an acrobat, so he had the calves for it. I had a teacher in high school when I was a senior, and she had this. She was absolutely phenomenal as a teacher, but she had us watch Hamlet. She had us watch the movie version with Laurence Olivier, and explain to us exactly how much she loved Laurence Olivier's calf muscles, and that she was upset because her husband did not have good calf muscles, and so their kids would not have good calf muscles, but she was really a big fan of his calf muscles. And I was just thinking, this is TMI.
High school is
for
weird.
High school students, but we were seniors, so I guess we were almost old enough to be okay to be talking about this stuff. But anyway, yes, the gams. All right. Speaking of leg muscles, yikes! Here we have a beautiful Craig Hamilton Aquaman commission using the costume where he was the artist with Neil Posner's Aquaman story, where Craig had done the art. So very cool, that blue costume that they had done. Very cool commission to be able to have Craig do that. Very regal with the scepter. And Craig is one of those people that's really closely associated with Aquaman, and for good reason, because of that miniseries was just so beautiful that, man, that fourth issue in particular was just phenomenal. And stupid me, I sold like a 4 or 5 page sequence from that to Nick, who probably still has it in his collection. And it's an interesting question, CJ Design. The Aquabong, I believe that this would be you see when you start looking at the bottom of the scepter. Anyway, is it a bong? Is it a pipe? Who knows? Perhaps. Man,
It's
you guys
glass
just,
smoking paraphernalia.
there you go. There you go. Man, you know, the memes and jokes that really are cross-pollinated between all of the different art-related streams. So, you know, where is Bill Cox when you need him to talk about the Aquaman? Anyway, really nice, clearly beautiful Aquaman imagery from artists closely associated with him. Again, I have this price at $500, but for tonight we brought the price down to $325, just in case you were wondering what kind of a discount has already been applied here. So we have that. So now let's move on to some, well, someone asked about George Perez art, and lo and behold, I brought some with. So here's a page from Ultraverse number 8, drawn by George, inked by Mark Morales. This was the series of issues where Black Knight, and you can see Black Knight here in terms of his face, that Black Knight had made his way into the Ultraverse universe. This was around the time, here and here, actually. This was around the time that Marvel had purchased the Ultraverse universe from, was it Eternity? I think that's the name of the company. And decided that they were going to start integrating the two universes, at least in some way. I also recently, you know, in connection with this, I recently picked up that Ultraverse, that Thor cover, which was the first instance where the Marvel characters were appearing in the Ultraverse. So was that Breakthrough 4? Was that the I can't remember the title, but anyway, that'll be coming in the mail soon to me. Yeah, Malibu, I know, but was Malibu?
Yeah, Ultraverse was Malibu.
Right, but I thought Malibu was part of Eternity Comics, but maybe they were separate. I can't remember that far back, and I had no intimate knowledge, or that it was renamed from Eternity to Malibu. I don't remember, but yes, Malibu is correct. Anyway, fun, inexpensive. It's nice to be able to add a published George page with heroes for under $500. There is a bit of an overlay for the special effects in this first panel, which is weird because then you see the same special effects continuing on in the second and third panels and fifth panels. But so why did he need an overlay for just this one? I'm not sure. Maybe it was for coloring purposes. But you know, this was George in the 90s when he was at the top of his game, and there's just some of the best artwork that George turned out was in this timeline. This was just before he went over to Marvel to relaunch the Avengers. So just really, really, you know, prime George art. Again, very affordable. I brought this down from $800 to $495 because I wanted to try to bring stuff that was 500 and under for at least, you know, at least 40% or 50% of the pieces we have tonight. So I didn't quite get the full 50, but you know, about 40% of the pieces were 500 and under. It's very hard to find published George page with heroes at below $500. So here is your opportunity if interested.
So according to the internet, Malibu co-founder Scott Rosenberg, who owns Sunrise Distribution, also financed Eternity, Amazing, Wonder Color Comics, and Imperial Comics, but they were different companies, just all funded by the same guy.
That makes sense. That's why I'm.
Yeah.
That's
so
why
are they different companies or are they the same company? That's a question for people who are better at math than me.
Right. and who have access to the contracts and funding records. So yeah, we shall see. But yeah, that's why I always associated them because of the same owner. So thank you, Kyle. That was a nice quick research there. All right, moving on. Let's move back to some Marvel pieces. So Ultimate Cataclysm, I don't know if people remember, but Ultimate Cataclysm was a mini-series where basically the Ultimate Universe found itself invaded by Galactus. And so here you've got this really cool double-page spread towards the climax of the story. So this is issue 4, drawn by the amazing, as always, Mark Bagley, who at that time was best known for his Ultimate Spider-Man run. This is a really cool overlay that goes here. It's done in special effects in the published comic. But as a result, you end up getting 3 pages of Bagley artwork. How cool is that? And even on the back, they're even labeled, 3 of 3. So these 3 all go together. Nice DPS. Galactus is, going to be in that little movie that I understand might be coming out next month. Some small unnamed, man, I can't remember. It was a fantastic.
He's in Superman. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yeah. So go ahead, Kyle.
Did you see the popcorn bucket they made of his head? 312-ounce popcorn bucket. It's 2.6 times bigger than the average large popcorn bucket.
No, I didn't realize that the dimensions of it, but it looked amazing, and I'm trying to figure out what showing I have to go to in order to get one of those before they all sell out, because
I'll send you the link.
Too cool. Oh, thank you.
I already ordered mine.
Oh, you can order them in advance, even better.
And I also got the Herbie popcorn pop and candy holder that they're selling for all of them too. So
nice. I recently picked up, it was very cool. I recently picked up Jack Kirby's character design for Herbie from the cartoon series, which is where he was introduced. So that very neat little piece of history there. He wasn't actually called Herbie at the time that he was designing it. There was just some X something designation for the robot. So I always love being able to pick up little cool pieces of history like that. Anyway, so here we go. Ultimate Universe, Bagley art. It's not Ultimate Spider-Man, but you've got members of the Ultimates, the Ultimate X-Men, the Ultimate Fantastic Four, and of course Galactus and Kitty Pryde. So really neat, and priced to sell. This is marked at $1,000 normally, so I knock 30% off to bring us down to the $695 price. So hopefully, see, look at all the X's. You got X's everywhere. Lots of fun. And and for anyone who's still reading the Ultimate stuff, obviously you've got Reed Richards, who becomes the Maker. You can already see, because he's been wounded here. He's en route. He's on his path towards becoming the Maker at this stage. So scary, interesting stuff, but neat storylines. Anyway, all right. Next on our little trip through the original art universe, everyone loves to talk about Black Costume Spider-Man. Well, here you go. There aren't very many Black Costume Spider-Man pages out there. This is one from the Web of Spider-Man title. Artist Steve Geiger, who had done a run on Hulk, and Vince Colletta. Again, I know people don't love Vince Colletta, but I see nothing but good work on this page. And in this particular storyline, Peter realizes that the Statue of Liberty, which is going on tour, the problem is that Peter used to store costume and civilian clothes in the head of the statue, and it's the statue that's going on tour, and realizes, uh-oh, if anyone finds that, my identity could be compromised. People could figure out who I am from the things that I left behind. So he flies out to California, which is where the head of the statue has gone for the tour, for the repair, and meets up with Mary Jane, who at the time was not his wife. They were just friends, but she was starting her acting career, and so he comes out to LA and drops in on her. Anyway, very cool page. You've got black costume, you've got Mary Jane, you've got good villains, because it's Kingpin's son, and Peter. So this page had been marked at 1,200. It brought it down to 950 for the show. Like I said, there's not a ton of black costume Spider-Man work out there. What part of my work are you most proud of? I'm not sure I understand the question. What do you mean, my work?
Do you have a piece in your collection that you're most proud of? I think Temao thinks you're the artist, which on most of our other shows that would be true. But this is our original art collector's show. So is there a piece of your collection that you are the most proud of?
Probably my Art Adams Fantastic Four cover piece. I don't know if you have access to my calf gallery, but it's at the top of the my page. There's the piece that I had commissioned that from Art as a birthday present for myself for my 50th birthday. And even though I didn't get it until I was 53, it was a very cool piece. And I was able to actually convince Marvel to use it as an alternate cover for their relaunch of the Fantastic Four series that Dan Slott had written a few years ago. And that's probably the piece that I think is the niftiest and the piece that's most likely to never leave my hands until everything else has been sold. That's too personal and too much fun. And oh my God, he just did such amazing work on that piece. I gave him as the concept. I said, Fantastic Four 100 cover was very, very neat and is very memorable, but there are a ton of characters that are missing from there because it has the Fantastic Four and Crystal surrounded by, their villains, so Doctor Doom and Red Ghost, etc., etc. But only a handful of their actual villains through the first 100. And I said, so your interpretation, Art, your interpretation of Fantastic Four 100, what you would have drawn if given the assignment. I said, my only request, you have to have Galactus on there somewhere. That's my only request. And then he really went to town and literally included every villain and a bunch of heroes that appeared in the first 100 issues of Fantastic Four. And it's just, just an amazing piece. And, he kept apologizing that it took so long. And I said, you're crazy for apologizing. I appreciate the time and effort that you put into it because this is just magical. And I was so happy that I was able to get him an extra payday to have Marvel use it as a cover, pay for it again. But he has sold prints and he's made some money off of that piece as well. So very, very fun. That's my long-winded answer. So let's see. So Alberto, someone asked me, bring Captain America art. So I brought some Captain America art. This is kind of cool because it's two different pages. And so you can see in the first page, the bottom two panels, this one being left blank and this one kind of giving us Crossbone's face. And for whatever reason, those two panels were drawn on a separate page. very eerie, very spooky, very noir, just very cool. I thought Epting's art on this run of Captain America was astounding. Just fantastic art. And the storyline obviously is the one that reintroduces Bucky into the Marvel Universe as Winter Soldier. So really, really cool to be able to add this piece. And look how much extra art you get instead of those two panels. I mean, by comparison, it's just you get so it's almost getting a page and a half of original art from Steve Epting. And doesn't Crossbones look badass? I mean, I wouldn't want to cross him. Anyway, very cool page. Issue 2, page 1. So it's that classic Brubaker Epting story from those first few issues. Just a nice little this is not stolen, but it is a steal. That's true. Thank you, Marcus. It's very true. Here, just a great page, very historic. It's already, 20 years old. Hard to believe it's been 20 years since that storyline. And this is a piece that I priced at $1,200. I brought it down to just under $1,000. Make it more affordable. Again, Nick's right. We want to try to grow the hobby, and unfortunately, sometimes that means taking a little bit of a bath just so you can have more people able, to join in and to pick up really cool pieces, really historic pieces. Page 1, issue 2. That's pretty neat to have. Anyway, so nice Captain America page for any Cap fans out there. And let's go cosmic. So we have a few cosmic pieces, but this will be the first one. Here we've got from the second volume of Silver Surfer, not including those couple one-shots like Byrne had done. So this is the second volume, really, which when they brought it back had Marshall Rogers as the artist, and Marshall Rogers was really well known for his run on Detective Comics. That those detective series, when he was inked by Terry Austin, it's just classic with the Jokerfish. Anyway, so having him come and do Silver Surfer, do something more cosmic in scale, was surprising, but worked really, really well. So I have this price at $1,800 because it is literally 2 half splashes with just first of all, you've got Frankie Ray Nova, fan favorite Nova version that John Byrne gave us in Fantastic Four. Then you've got Galactus and his spaceship, as well as the Elders of the Universe. And then, they're all working together. Their plan comes together. Just a really, really neat piece. Again, priced at $1,800, but I've brought it down to $1,200. It's not going to stay at $1,200, trust me. If it doesn't sell tonight, it goes back in the inventory and goes back up to regular price. So again, I thought having something Galactus oriented, the timing was right for that. But any fan of Marvel's cosmic adventures would love this page. Like I said, the Elders of the Universe, who played such a key part in Thanos Quest, Galactus, Nova, just neat stuff. Available tonight for you, lucky viewers. It will sell on the site indeed, CJ Design. All righty. I don't feel the excitement in the viewers. Oh, that's a shame. But maybe this will be more exciting. So, Paul Smith. Oh my God, Paul Smith with the X-Men. So associated with X-Men. He just did such a great run. Everyone, was so excited, and his artwork on the X-Men is so rare, so expensive, so hard to find. And it looks like we already have a claim at 129 is not the right price. Kyle, you're missing a 5 at the end.
Damn. So it is $12.95. Let's do this. We'll cover that up with this. There you go. So it is $12.95. TMD, if you want to back out, that's cool. There we go.
Yeah. No,
So
129.
$12.95.
I would have been claiming all day long myself. Trust me. Yes, $12.95. This is I have this price at $1,800, but brought the price down to $12.95. This from 1983. It's classic. It's right around the time that he was drawing the title. Just really cool. Yeah, yes, Tandy. The price was too good to be true.
It was so good, you'd almost think it was a typo.
And Marcus, close, just off by a couple placements on that decimal point. So at $12.95, if anyone does want to pick it up, please let me know. Rich, I'm not sure. Rich Donnelly, I don't know if you want it at that price, but anyway, just beautiful Paul Smith from that prime time era of his art and his connection with the X-Men. So,
Rich, it's $12.95. $1,295.
And 129th. Yes, David, 129. Yay, you people. No wonder Nick is hiding from you and taking the day off. No, I'm just kidding. We all have fun. That's the best part about this show is everybody has fun. So anyway, beautiful Paul Smith, great Cyclops. Where is Bill Cox when you need him, since he's a big Cyclops fan. But really neat piece. Obviously, there's no way to get a 1983 Paul Smith art anymore now that we're 40 some years ahead of that date. It's the right era, and for fans of his run on the Uncanny series. So really neat piece to consider. All right, so we go cosmic again. Ooh. From Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, the male Captain Marvel, as opposed to the 2 or 3 different female Captain Marvels we've had since. But yes, this is Marvel of the Kree from issue 54. George Tuska, who honestly is not one of my favorite pencilers, but the inking by Terry Austin, I think, elevates this page immensely. There he is in outer space, and we're also shown Nitro, the exploding man, and of course Nitro is most associated with Captain Marvel because it was in his fight with Nitro that Marvel was exposed to the cancerous chemicals that eventually leads to his death in the timeless and heartbreaking Death of Captain Marvel graphic novel by Jim Starlin. Just so cool. So this piece had been marked to 2,400. I brought it down to 1,795. Again, some 25% off, just in hopes that it makes things a little bit. Is it 25% off, or is that a third off? No, it's a third off. More than 25% off. Right? No, that was 25. Okay. I can think. Yes, 25% off. Because I'm doing 600 out of 18 as a third, but it's not 600 out of 18, it's 600 out of 24, which is a quarter. So anyway, neat, nicely inked page, some nice fight scenes, some nice space scenes, and a lot of fun. Again, this is from the 70s. Yeah, 1977. Almost 50 years old, which makes me feel old because, you know, I was collecting these comics at this time as I was going to the 7-Elevens and other stores to buy them. So I'm an old man. Anyway, Nick is eating bacon, crab, and pork belly. Yeah, that sounds like Nick, that he would be posting what he's eating for dinner with his business dinner.
Yeah.
Cool
Can we
piece.
all just talk about how Nick's going to get gout anyway?
Yeah, really. What vegetables?
Right.
Cool piece. You know, like I said, almost 50 years old. Lots of fun, and available for anyone who's interested tonight. All right. I don't know. Do we have Ruben in the chat tonight? I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know if he's here. But I thought this was something that Ruben might find a little bit interesting, because I think, like he has one of these sketches, preliminaries for this cover. So the interesting thing about this cover, which the final printed cover was painted by Joe Jusko, but he painted over the pencils of John Buscema, and you know, Joe has made it clear that he painted directly over the pencils of John. And what John had done was a series of these prelims where in each successive one, he started with a very rough outline of what it would look like. Then on the next one, he spent time working on the Avengers portion, getting them just right in the positions and poses he wanted. On this particular one, he did a lot of detail, and you can see it on the image that's posted. He did a lot of detail on the villains, on the villain heads, to get those right. And then after this, he did the final penciled version that made its way to Joe for him to paint over. So that's why this is cool, and that's why it's so affordable. If it was an actual published John Buscema Avengers cover, it would be 5 or 6 figures, not just a hair under 2,000. So again, really neat opportunity to, and of course, I've got a sticker that has nothing to do with this. The Incredible Hulk, 11,500. Has nothing to do with this piece. Just a really, really neat piece, because not only is the artwork beautiful, and you get John Buscema drawing the Avengers and the Masters of Evil, but it's also a part of the process. So you can see what he did, how he was working on coming up with the final cover. So yeah, Marcus, it was 11,500 for a Dale Keown page from issue 377, but that has sold, and in fact I got full price on it, which was nice. I had 2 sequential pages. The buyer bought both of them. So yikes. But yeah, very cool cover. Very nice art. It's all pencil work, and the detail on the heads, very cool. Anyway, why do I use the word cool so much? I don't understand.
Because they haven't invented an adjective that describes this kind of stuff other than that?
Yeah, probably. Still, you would think as a lawyer I would have a better vocabulary than just constantly saying, it's cool.
It was the Ken K. It was the Avengers Under Siege. What was it? Trade, or was it the one shot?
Yeah, it was a trade paperback. So it was a reprint of the Under Siege storyline. This was the new cover they had done for that trade paperback, having John draw it and Joe paint it was really neat. So it's a shame there's no Ruben, because like I said, Ruben has the one of the other prelims, and so I thought, oh, I bet he would be interested in this, but bastard doesn't show up for my show. I see how it works, because I don't have the same poll that Nick has. All right. Anyway, so we were dealing with Captain Marvel earlier, and here's a later Captain Marvel, because we have Carol Danvers when she was introduced as Ms. Marvel before eventually becoming Captain Marvel. Neat page, issue 4 of her series. The Doomsday Man, very very formidable foe. In fact, she in her thought balloons is thinking there's no way I'll be able to win this battle. I'm just a gnat attacking an elephant, with the elephant getting madder every second. Yes, she realized she was outclassed in terms of strength, and so just fun action page, but one that also progresses the storyline very well with this individual mad scientist who's on the cover. So this is not a cover scene, but this is the cover villain. Anyway, yes, this first panel is just awesome. Ms. Marvel in flight, in battle against a superior foe, and then even the second panel is fun as she somersaults away from the attacking Doomsday Man. I was always a big fan of Joe Sinnott's inks, and the combination of Jim Mooney and Sinnott inks is just, it's a home run every time. And this is such a great page, detailing exactly that. Mooney's ability to do his storytelling, and Joe's ability to make everything just look so nice. After all those years on Fantastic Four, we all came to love him, and just everything he worked on was always a pleasure to look at. Clean lines, not muddied, just wonderful. So anyway, this page marked at 3,000. I've brought down to 2,300. Again, just trying to get a good price for the folks on the experience who are used to Nick's great pricing. All right, another Cap page, but this one a little bit more classic. So from 1972, Captain America 149. So page 5. This is Sal Buscema pencils, Jim Mooney inks. So Mooney was both an inker and a penciler. Interesting part of this storyline of the Cap era, because here he is just having a run-in with Nick Fury, who's basically had it up to here with Captain America, and basically throws him out of S.H.I.E.L.D., tells him to just get out, that they'll get no support. S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't need him and will not support him. And in fact, then it goes on the loudspeaker to tell everyone in this panel that you're to provide no cooperation. I repeat, no cooperation. And here you see you've got both Sharon and the Contessa turning their back on Cap, making it clear that they can't have anything to do with him because of this feud that's going on with Nick Fury. Just a beautiful, classic Captain America from the 70s. And I think that Sal Buscema is one of the most underrated artists that Marvel had. Just his ability to draw pretty much any character, anytime, anywhere, and to work so quickly. He and his brother John and some of the other classic Marvel artists being able to work on 2, sometimes 3 books a month was crazy to think of when you think about today's artists who, well, if I do a series, I can guarantee you 9 issues for the year, as opposed to 9 issues in 3 months, which is what these guys were doing. It's just a different. It's a different industry today. I don't know that it's necessarily better that you have artists who are only doing 9 issues a year, but it's just different. But I'm a big fan of Sal's work, and lots of fun. So, someone got a quick art lesson from Sal. That's so cool, CJ. I'd ask you to tell us the story, but you're only in chat. You're not actually on microphone, so it might be too difficult to do. Why are you not going? There we go. Stay, boy. I can't get it to stay, so I'm going to move it down. All right. Yeah, righty. Let's see. My next piece. Who's not a fan of Bob Layton? I'm certainly a fan of Bob Layton. He's one of my clients. He's one of my friends, and he's an author of so many amazing, beautiful pieces of art. So I saw this and thought, this is just too cool. This is penciled and inked by Bob, and for the Thunder Agents, who were created by Wally Woods Thunder Agents, and really neat, fun, and dynamic cover by Bob. Bob was best known initially as being an inker and writer, and then moved his way into full pencils and inks. His Hercules storyline, where he wrote and illustrated, so he wrote and penciled and inked. Just amazing stuff. And this is, again, prime time Bob Layton from late 70s, early 80s era, and really affordably priced. It's a piece that I had marked at $4,500 that we're doing the Ragnarok recap, brought it down for tonight only, $32.95.
Bob Layton fans on FOC this week in your local comic shop, they are doing a new printing of the Demon in a Bottle story arc from Iron Man with a not a brand new, but a new cover that is also Bob Layton art.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, make sure you call your local comic shop and order that because otherwise they might not get it for you.
Absolutely. And man, what a storyline. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. One of the most important Iron Man storylines ever told.
And his personal history involved in that as well, that it was that storyline. David Michelinie used that storyline to basically confront Bob about his own alcoholism. And it was as a result of doing that storyline that Bob went through rehab and was able to become sober, and he's been sober since. And so that when you learn those story elements behind the scenes, it just makes the story itself so much more powerful. And very cool. I'm glad they're doing a new printing, and I'll have to go online and look up what the new cover looks like, because I'm sure it's amazing.
All right.
Anyway, all right. So, staying on the cover front. So, again, originally marked at $4,500. I brought this one down to $3,500 or $3,495. This is the cover to Invincible Iron Man #3 from the current series. This is the classic Tales of Suspense 39 version of Iron Man. Mark Bagley has moved from doing covers and interiors to doing just covers at this stage of his career. And this is an example of one of them. And now because he's only doing covers, he's inking his own work. So this is a really beautiful rendition of that historic version of Iron Man in that clunky gray suit. I don't know how anyone could walk in that, but they did. Anyway, beautiful Mark Bagley, really cool cover, variant cover, very affordable. I don't know what more to say about, yes, bricks. There are many, many bricks. Should we count the bricks? I would, except I think that's boring. So I'm not going to count the bricks. But yes, see all of these in jokes that everybody has. Very fun. Is there a thigh gap? I don't know. Can you say there's a thigh gap when you're wearing armor? Who's to say? But Mark Bagley, cover, Iron Man, one of the most popular characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and one of the most popular characters in the regular Marvel printed universe. Here, available. This actually has not been made available for sale until tonight. This is a curated debut just for the experienced fans, and a great piece to be had by anyone interested in Marvel history. Anyway, all right. I can keep waxing non-poetic for ages, but I'm not gonna, because we still have more art to look at. Final two pieces. All right. Gil Kane, Ghost Rider, first page splash. How cool is that? You've got a great Daredevil villain in The Gladiator, and this is such a format that Gil Kane used in terms of presenting the action. That you've got motion of a sense, because here you have our hero, Ghost Rider, coming towards the villain who's ripping apart the walls. So in a single static image, nevertheless, Kane is able to introduce multiple concepts of motion, both through what the Gladiator is doing and through Ghost Rider and his trail of fire. This is why I could never be an artist, because I don't think in these terms. I don't think about how would one be able to introduce the concepts of motion, of movement, the sheer danger coming from the Gladiator through his action. I don't think that way. So that's why I became a lawyer. I don't know. I could write better than I could draw, because I couldn't draw my way out of a brown paper bag. Just really cool. And personally, I know there's a huge debate over this, and I'm in the minority, but I love pieces that have been colored when they're colored well, and this is colored really well. I just think it's, for me, more reminiscent of the comic. It plays into what it was that I bought, what I collected, what I had an affiliation with, and so I just love when they're colored like this. No, the colors are by, I can't even make out this gentleman's name. Perhaps someone else can read that, but
something
Chuck,
Baker.
yeah. So maybe it's Chuck Baker. Beckman or Jackson, or I don't know. But they did a beautiful job. I mean, it's I've seen some really bad coloring jobs, unfortunately. This is not one of them. And it's, no, I'm not planning on getting the art colored, but I think it's really cool when that stuff happens. And I'm going to go minorly off screen. Sorry. Here's a piece that I'm going to be bringing to that show when we make it to Torrance. Let me see if I can. Yes, there it is. This is another really cool colored piece. This one was colored by Olaf. Really neat splash page. First time Arcade appears in Uncanny X-Men, plus you get all the X-Men in cards. And it was really interesting note that I hadn't seen before, that Byrne writes to Terry Austin and says, this page, Arcades, is more or less fully rendered, because for this issue, Byrne had only done breakdowns, but this one page was fully rendered, not surprisingly. How much is this one? No, these were, Nicholas, these were colored after. This was not colored for print. This was whoever owned this before I was able to acquire it, decided to have it professionally colored, and it is colored by Steve Oliff, who has signed it. Terry Olson signed it. John Byrne signed it. Chris Claremont signed it. Yeah, Steve Oliff, right at the bottom there. How much is this? I'm still working on that, Marcus. I'm probably putting it out at 120,000. I saw that Magneto splash that went for 150,000 plus juice. So I thought, well, Arcade is not quite as well known or well associated with the X-Men the same way Magneto is, but still, that was Magneto just by himself. This one, you've got, again, like I said, the depictions of all of the X-Men on these cards just makes it super cool. The detail on the chair is amazing, etc. So I'm figuring somewhere in that range. Would I trade it for an Aparo cover? Probably not.
That thing where you're looking at a piece of art that's worth more than your house.
Oh, yeah, I have too many of those in the past, but then when I moved to California, the house has become so expensive that I no longer worry about that. But still, more expensive than a car always made me hesitate. And then, and then everything kept getting more expensive, and now it doesn't make me hesitate anymore.
Well, if I didn't buy art that was more expensive than my car, I'd never buy art. So,
all right. So our final piece for tonight, excuse me, is another Perez page. I wanted to finish strong with Perez, and this is, for me, such an amazing page because of its content. First of all, this miniseries was kind of groundbreaking in its own way. So in the midst of ongoing new Teen Titans storylines in the regular title, they decided to do a 4-issue miniseries highlighting the origins of the 3 characters that they created, that Marv and George created for the new Teen Titans, in terms of Raven, Cyborg, and Starfire. And the 4th issue, they kind of redid the origins of and re-energized Beast Boy and making him into Changeling. So each of the issues from the miniseries was inked by a different inker, but all drawn by George. And the first issue was the origin of Cyborg, whose origin had been hinted at to some degree in the earlier issues. But here, the detailed, full origins. So we knew about his essentially being upset with his father because his father turned him into this freak in his mind, even though they do manage to reconcile just before his father dies. That's how Vic has always viewed himself. And this page really hits hard on that part of the storyline, where he's asking, why did you do this to me? What did you do to me, and why? And he basically realizes, it's like, I'm just a guinea pig for you. That's all I've ever been. I'm just a human guinea pig for your experiments. And why couldn't you let me die, he says. Man, talk about emotional punch. But I love this page because you've got the full Titans team in the top panel, and that really pivotal moment in Cyborg's origin story. So, look, this is a page that I normally would price somewhere between, honestly, between 5,500 and 6,000 is where I would be pricing this. I thought, let me bring it here. Let me put it in at a reasonable price, just to have this little bit of history. I think Brett Breeding did such an amazing job for this storyline. He was so perfect for the cyborg, all of the technological elements that came through this story. So anyway, just really neat piece, really, really pivotal moment, and well, that's all I got. So that's my final piece for tonight. So Kyle, what do we do at this point in terms of?
Well,
is there a
do we want to go back
recap?
through them one time? You want to do a recap?
If you'd like, yeah, why not? I'm here. What's the audience want?
Let's do a recap. If the audience is desperate for stuff, I've got a couple pieces I could show, but let's do a recap.
All right. So the Kevin Coley page is sold, as we know. And let's see, next we have, I'm just going to let your image shine. I'm not going to keep pulling them off the wall.
Yeah.
So, nice, almost full page splash, Robin, Joe Bennett, $250, again, for essentially a splash page. Really nice, great storyline. This issue, like I said, was heavy with Batman lore, and really neat piece. Joe Bennett, early in his career, but just doing great work. Next.
Right.
And I assume we'll do the drawing after this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Because I just saw the question in the chat that said drawing. Another great Robin page. This one by Alex Saviuk. The Dick Grayson Robin. Not only do you have the action in the first 4 panels, but you've got the costume change in the last 2 panels. Just kind of a fun page for any fan of the character. $2.95. And unlike Nick, look, as we learned from the Kevin Coley pages, if people want to make an offer, I'll always consider the offer. I won't guarantee that I would take the offer, but I'll consider a reasonable offer on any of these pieces. So, Superboy Plus, the Con-El Superboy that was introduced during the reign of the Superman after the death of Superman, and here with his team up with Captain Marvel Jr. And is that Double X from Project Cadmus? So neat page, $450 marked down to $2.95 for a great half splash. Very nice fun. Mark Bagley, Superior Spider-Man. You've got Peter Parker dressed in the costume of the original Doc Ock Superior Spider-Man, working with Doc Ock's girlfriend, Anna Marie, trying to undo the problems set up by AIM and by our villain du jour. So, again, originally marked up at $450, marked down to $2.95, if anyone's interested. Very cool. There's that word again. Phil Gimenez page from his Tempest miniseries, Tempest issue 3, page 11. Yes, nice butt shot, I believe, is what someone said earlier. Originally $450, marked down to $2.95. Kind of George Perez light in terms of the amount of detail that he puts into his pages, but I mean, Phil is an artist of his own right and has been for quite a while. And this is just from Prime Phil, just working on a series that he loved. I don't know if people know, but I mentioned that the Craig Hamilton Aquaman miniseries that he had worked on, and now I'm blanking on the name of the writer of the series. Man, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. No, Neil Posner. So one of the reasons Phil did the Tempest miniseries is because he was actually he actually dated Neil Posner in the time leading to Neil's untimely passing, and so this was Phil's way of kind of doing a love letter to Neil by going back to that storyline, which is why the costume that Garth adapts is similar to and based upon the design that Craig came up with for the Aquaman series. So again, really cool tie-in for that reason, and just a beautiful page by a great artist, Phil Gimenez. Next. Oh, speaking of the Craig Hamilton Aquaman, there you go. Beautiful commission. It's full size, 11 by 17, with that costume that he's known for, and very reasonably priced at $325, marked down from the $500. I had to mark that. If anyone's interested, let me know. And thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate the kind words. It's fun to be able to do this, and I hope people are enjoying themselves tonight. That I haven't been too boring. Anyway, Kyle, next. George Perez, Ultraverse, from the later part of the series where the Marvel and Malibu universes were starting to merge, as Black Knight makes his way into the Ultraverse universe. Typical, beautiful, detailed, action-packed George Perez art for under $500. So
with that overlay. Right.
With the overlay for free. You get the overlay for free.
I have a Wonder Man double page that is got overlays that I can't figure out either. So maybe it was just the style at the time.
Well, they did a lot of it for color holds, especially like the History of the DC Universe pages had these overlays where it would just indicate, oh, this is for this color red, or you'd have a different one for the color blue by itself. That so I don't know if it, this is pre-tablet artwork where you can do all that stuff digitally, so you don't have to worry about telling the printer, oh, this has to be in this color, and so you had to do it on a separate page. So
yeah, no minor explosions, so who knows? It might have just been a fad. We'll see.
Yeah. Yep. Ultimate Cataclysm, double page spread plus the overlay, which again, I think here was done because the overlay was like a separate color as a special effect, so to give it a 3D effect when it was printed. But it's essentially 3 pages of art for the price of one good Bagley Ultimate Universe page. So, and hey, who doesn't love a giant Galactus fighting a giant Kitty Pryde? Black costume Spider-Man from Web of Spider-Man 28. Steve Geiger, who I think had a great run on Hulk and did a nice job on this issue. Mary Jane Watson, fun stuff. Again, under $1,000 for a black costume Spider-Man page. It's not a bad deal. Very fun, complex, beautifully rendered Captain America page, focusing on the villain Crossbones. Do you have the other image from that too, Kyle?
It's here, but for whatever reason, it's not showing up properly.
It's not showing up properly. Gosh darn it!
Let me try something else here.
I got one. Yeah, I got it. Anyway, again, there you go. Neat. Page 1, issue 2 of the Brubaker, Ed Brubaker storyline that reintroduced Bucky as Winter Soldier. 20 years old, man! I just can't believe it's been that long. Just so beautifully rendered. Epting just does great work, but this was the point where people suddenly said, wow, to his art. He had done some really nice stuff before this, but this really, he stepped up his game, raised it to a new level, and issue 2, man, marked down for you guys again, trying to keep it under $1,000, and $9.95. So it's as close to under 1,000 as I could get.
And that Crossbones face is incredible. So
it's so moody and spooky, and just beautiful. Cosmicness again. You've got Galactus. You've got his, at that time, his Herald Nova, and not the Nova that we had known, but the Frankie Ray Nova, introduced by, talk about haunches, introduced by John Byrne during his Fantastic Four run. Elders of the Universe, Galactus ship, all kinds of cosmic activity, some giant bomb being dropped into this really weird, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 6-sided. It's not a. What's a 6-sided? 5 is pentagram. What's a sexagram?
Septagon. Sextagon.
I thought sept was 7, so sex would be 6. So hexagon. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, hexagon. That makes more sense.
Hexagon. Yeah. Sorry, I should have known that. I'm old.
I didn't go to school for math.
I'm over 60. I brain fart. That's how I excuse it. Thank you, Rick. Again, with the notice that the price, thank you, is missing a digit. Beautiful Paul Smith rendition of leader of the Uncanny X-Men Cyclops from 1983 when he was working on the title. Just beautiful. Nice to be able to add something. If you were to try to buy a page from Uncanny X-Men, you're looking at probably 30 or 40 times that number. So nice, affordable way to try to get some classic Paul Smith artwork on one of the characters from the title he's best known for. Another cosmic Captain Marvel page with the original Captain Marvel traveling through space, heading towards Earth, also tying in with Nitro, and beautiful inks by Terry Austin on this. Just really cool. Again, a page from the 70s. Tried to bring a nice bargain price in for this at this $1,800 level, down from the mid 2s. So neat piece to be able to pick up. Next, where else are you going to get a John Buscema Avengers cover drawing for under $2,000? Really fun detail on the Masters of Evil on their heads as they float above the knocked out unconscious members of the Avengers. You've got the whole team there with Thor, Cap, Captain Marvel, the new one, or at that time new one, Photon, I guess I forget what her current name is. Anyway, Wasp, Hercules, who gets brain damage during the storyline, Ant-Man, and Black Knight. Just lots and lots of characters. Just beautiful, beautiful work, and really neat to see it as a stage in the work, as it was. He's working towards having the cover completed and painted by Joe Jusko. Speaking of Marvels, Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel, early in her series, issue 4, beautifully done by Jim Mooney, Joe Sinnott inks, which just make everything so much nicer and cleaner and really pop. Great top 2 panels with action, Ms. Marvel flying and then dodging. Really nice. $22.95 down from the 3,000 had been marked at. Nice addition for any collection. Next. Classic Captain America. I guess we're missing Alberto tonight. Classic Captain America. And this page, I mean, you've got not only Cap, you've got Nick Fury, you've got S.H.I.E.L.D., you've got Sharon Carter, you've got the Contessa. Just so many cool characters, pivotal story page. $3,000, right around what I paid for the page. Like I said, for other things, this applies to. Really nice addition to any collection. Next. Beautiful cover. Bob Layton, pencils and inks. Wallywood Thunder Agents. I love the shadowy figure above the action. I love the machinery. It's got so many really cool elements to it. I love the Zipatone. Who doesn't love good Zipatone? You can't get that stuff anymore. So great cover, $32.95. Pretty reasonable price given the age of the cover. Modern, beautiful Mark Bagley Iron Man cover with the vintage armor, pencils and inks by Bagley. Brought this down from 5,000 to 3,500 just because I wanted to have something fun, and what a neat image. And look at all the bricks, like someone pointed out previously. All the bricks, the rubble. It's what more could you want out of an Iron Man cover? Great splash page, Ghost Rider, Daredevil villain, Gladiator. From the 70s? I'm looking, it's like what's the copyright? 1970, yep, it's from the 70s. So again, almost 50 years old. And just classic Gil Kane storytelling and art on display here. Just super neat. And last but not least, this really emotional page from the Tales of the New Teen Titans miniseries. Perez pencils, great inks by Brett Breeding, and just a pivotal moment in storytelling. So I think that's our recap.
All right. So this is your last call right now to put in hashtag Nick Who in the comments to get entered in the giveaway. We are giving away, probably would help if I'm holding this up to turn on my camera. We are giving away this Aliens Vampirella blank variant. This is a ridiculously low print run. You can look this up on the internet. eBay and those have it listed between $100 and $120 for a blank with no art. So you could take this to a convention or someplace and get somebody to draw some art on it. But I will tell you, there's very little tooth on this paper. So if you could find an artist who can do it, they're a wizard. So just know that that's kind of what that is, but it's ridiculously low print run. The fact that I got one is sort of a miracle that I'm hoping the person who sent it to me doesn't notice. So we're going to give it away before I get busted with it. And we will we'll give that away here in about 30 seconds. I'll give you 30 seconds. Mike, tell people where they could, like, how they could find you on CAF and places like that, so that they know where to go look for this stuff that they didn't buy tonight on a discount and can buy tomorrow for full price.
Sure. So, I have a CAF gallery under my full name, Michael Lovitz. If you want to email me, my artwork email is mlovitz, then the number 6 at gmail.com. So mlovitz6@gmail.com. You can reach me there. If you go to the galleries through CAF, like I said, all of the artwork was posted there. If there's something of interest, you can reach out to me either through the CAF mailbox function or just email me directly at that mlovitz6@gmail.
Very cool. All right, let's do the giveaway. If I can click the right buttons here, here we go. The winner of the Aliens Vampirella blank, which I will ship to you directly from me, is... All right, Kenneth is not eligible. Kenneth is one in the last 30 days, so we're redrawing.
Oh, sorry, Ken. Yeah.
There we go. R. Donnelly, Rich. If you could fill out the form, if you could fill out the form as though you made a claim, the bit.ly/dynamic forces form, I will get your informations from the gang and get this book shipped out to you here this week. So you can't take it to Heroes Con tomorrow, but you'll have it in time for San Diego or whatever other conventions you might be going to in the next few weeks. So
yeah, it's convention season, starting up really into hitting high gear. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities to hit up a convention.
Absolutely. So on behalf of the EXP, thank you to Mike for filling in for Nick. He goes, Kyle, we're gonna have a fill in for the art show, and I go, oh no, it's not me, is it? And he goes, no, it's Michael Lovitz, and I go, okay, great, he has good art and I don't. So thank you, Michael, for filling in. Guys, stay tuned. First of all, on Sunday afternoon, he didn't show up for this show, but he's doing his own. This is the promo for Ruben's show on Sunday. You guys know where to find Ruben, where he does all of that kind of stuff over on his own YouTube channel. Then here on the EXP, in just about 15 minutes time, Nancy McCann is doing a vintage live sale. She's got everything from all the way back to, she's got some Golden Age stuff on offer. But, a lot of the stuff that, we were talking about tonight in terms of Bob Layton and some of those creators of that era will be available in the final product of books on Nancy's show. Then Sunday evening, I will be doing a live sale. I will have some CCAs, some sketch covers available. And then Monday, Rex is back with Comic Collectibles here on The Experience. So if you don't know where we're at, theexplive.com. Everybody check out Michael's calf and buy the art, because otherwise, how are we going to buy more art?
Exactly. Oh.
So
thanks
for being here, everybody.
I hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you guys in person soon.
Be good to one another. We'll see you next time.